says, Kodanap, Aritas Kutela Titake, Kai Korana Satake. Goeiedag. Ek is opperhoof Kutela. Ons is Kai Korana. Die storie van die Khoi en die Saan, die Boesman, is 'n baie interessante storie. Eerste nasie van die suide. En met die koms van die pokke-epidemie van die 1700s, het Korana besluit hy gaan die Kaap verlaat. Dit was gesien as boosheid. As die koning sê, ons gaan trek, het al die stamme getrek. Hulle toe begin trek. Toe kom hulle by 'n plek waar hulle 'n pragtige natuurverskynsel sien. Mense van die area waar ons nou is. Die chief het agtergebly het, sy naam was Knysna. Hulle word door die mense van Knysna.
This story about the people of Knys, or Knysna, is but one of many as to how this place came by its name and what it means. Some say the word Knysna means place of the ferns, while some say it means place of great beauty. But it may just as well mean place of forests or place of timber, as that is what passengers on passing ships would have seen as they looked to the indigenous forests over the Knysna estuary through the now famous Knysna Heads. And while the first European settler in Knysna, Stephanus Terblanche, had already settled on his farm Melkhout Kraal by 1770, it is timber that led to the town's existence. The Dutch East India Company settlement in the Cape had been growing steadily, and new sources of timber had to be found. Governor Plettenberg travelled eastwards in 1778, and soon woodcutter posts were established in present-day George and Plettenberg Bay.
My pa was van die Sonqayi gewees. My ma was van Tsitsikamma gewees en daarvandaan het hulle toe na Tussen Eiland toe gekom en daar het hulle dan vir jare gewerk en ons het toe later op 'n highway kom bly want my pa het daar gewoon en my oupa het onder in die langs die rivier het hulle die Korana rivier het hulle gewoon. My pa werk toe daai tyd in bosbou. Dieselfde area waar ons nou min of meer is. Ek meen ons is nou in Goudveld. Ons staan nou hierso by Benningo Mine. Wat ek nou goed onthou is die boiler wat daar heel bo staan. Hom met ons gaan uithaal in 'n sytak van die rivier by die Omtini rivier en toe ons daar by die boom by die boiler kom, toe daar so 'n blackout swarthout boom wat deur sy wiel gegroei het. En in die 100 jaar wat hy daar gestaan het, het hy nog op sy eie gries, want die gries was sommer nog lewendig in sy wiele gewees.
The Bendigo mine is one of many that were established here in the village of Millwood. J.J. Hooper, a local farmer, discovered a gold nugget in a tributary of the Karoo River in 1876. And as word got out, prospectors from all over the world invaded the Millwood forest near Knysna. The area was declared a gold field in 1886 and a village sprung up almost overnight. 200 diggers had already settled in Millwood by 1885 with 2,000 registered claims. But only 656 ounces of gold, just over 18.5 kilograms, was ever found at Millwood, and nearly all the mining companies had collapsed by 1890, leaving Millwood a ghost village by the early 1890s. Only 73 miners were left by 1893, and mining ceased in 1910, after which those miners who were still in the area joined the timber industry. The little rivulet was later renamed Jubilee Creek to commemorate Queen Victoria's Jubilee. Today, Jubilee Creek is a favourite picnic spot amongst locals and visitors alike. Not only can you visit the Millwood Museum to learn more about South Africa's first gold rush, but you can also view some of the impressive mining equipment like the boiler, stamp battery and wheeler pan that have been restored to create a visual representation of a working production line. Or you could walk along the creek through the mysterious forest and view the mines of old. Who knows? You might even find that one big nugget of gold that the miners missed. Just before Millwood was declared a goldfield, a group of Italian families arrived in Khoi, just outside of Knysna. As told in Dalian Mathieu's book, Mulberry Forest, they were lured here to set up a silk farming industry in 1881. The mulberry forests they were promised didn't exist, and when they attempted to plant their own trees, the plants were attacked by pests. The silk farming industry never came to be, and these disgruntled immigrants had to battle severe winter rains and fevers. While various single Italian men returned to Italy, most of the families eventually dispersed throughout South Africa. Only 2 of the original families stayed on in Knysna, and there are still prominent Italian names amongst the current residents of Knysna. Their community established the San Ambroso Church in Khoi in 1892, and today it's called the San Ambroso Chapel Museum. Those who decided to remain in Knysna were integrated into the communities of woodcutters, who took them under their wing and taught them the tricks of the trade when it comes to treating timber.
Ons is hier nou in die Knysna Natuurbos, wat ons noem die Goutveld. Dit is hier waar die houtkappers vroeger jare die hout gewerk het. En hier met ons, het ons nou vir die 2 Zeelie broers, Hendri en Michal. Hulle is nou besig om dit in mote op te saag, soos ons gesê het, blokke. Dan word hierdie blokke uitgesleep, wat ons gesê die depot. En daar word die hout gevat en daardie blok word mooi vierkantig gekap met 'n sekere byl. Hierdie byl is die byl waarmee die boskappers die blok dan vierkantig gekap het. Hulle het hierdie byl se naam is die gesma. As u kyk, hierdie byl se steel is krom. Hy is nie reguit nie. Kyk, ons wil nou wys hoe dat hulle die blok in planke gesaag het. Na hulle dit nou aan die een kant nou al gelyk gekap het. Ons het gesê hulle het bloed gebruik wanneer hulle naby die slagplek is om 'n bloedlyn te slaan. Maar nou is hulle ver van bloed af, dan gebruik hulle maar sommer houtskool. Nou, die houtskool is nou in hierdie blikkie. Nou skit ons dit so fyn. En die lyn is ook hier binnekant. Nou gaan ek vir Michal en Hendri die lyn gee. En dan gaan hulle nou wys hoe dat hulle die lyn op die blok geslaan het, om dit met die saag te saag.
And getting the timber out of the forest was just as much hard work. Pressure on horses or oxen dragged the wood along drag routes or sleeppaaie to where the timber was loaded onto ox wagons and carted into town. The South Western Railway Company Limited operated from Knysna to Diepwalle via Brackenhill for 42 years. This unique 2-foot narrow-gauge railway line traversed the 22 miles into the forest 3 times a week with spark arresters fitted on the engine to prevent forest fires. These fat fittings gave the impression of large coffee pots, and so the train was named Coffee Pot by the locals. The train operated until 30th of April 1949, but trucks were already used to transport the timber by 1930, and trucks are still used today to transport the timber from the forest to the sawmill. George Parks had arrived in Knysna in 1890 and went on to establish the Knysna Forest Company, later renamed to Geo Parks and Company Limited. The town of Knysna developed around the Geo Parks sawmill, which was closed and relocated to the town's industrial area in 1984. The large sawmill building of 1919 has been incorporated into the Woodmill Lane shopping complex, which is today registered as a National Heritage Site. The harvested timber was also used to make pieces of famous Knysna furniture. By 1911, a training school for cabinet makers opened near Knysna, leading to a thriving industry of making quality furniture from indigenous timber. In 1914, the road between Knysna and George had 58 gates that had to be opened and closed, but by 1951, a tarred road between Knysna and Cape Town started luring holidaymakers to the area, giving birth to the estate industry. While the town developed around the old mill, the municipal entity, the Knysna, had been formed almost 10 years earlier. The naval township of Melville was laid out by the British Royal Navy in 1825 on a section of George Rex's farm Eastford, which he had ceded to the Cape Colonial Government. The village of Newhaven was established on the northern section of the farm Melkote Kraal in 1845 by John Sutherland, who also built a timber school in 1847. The building of the school was closely followed by the construction of the stone Anglican St. George's Church, which was consecrated in 1855. These two villages, Melville and Newhaven, along with a wedge of land between the two that was a remaining portion of the farm Eastford, amalgamated in 1882, and the municipality called the Knysna was formed, named after the Knysna River.
Ik is daar in Uniondale geboren in 1932 en ik heb daar school gegaan. En daarvan heeft mijn pa voor beter werk gezocht en hij heeft een vriend gehad, dat bij Tiesens gewerkt. En hij heeft voor mijn pa gezegd, hij zou mijn pa samen nemen Tiesens eiland toe. En mijn pa had nou een probleem gehad in Uniondale. Hij wil zijn 4 achterlos nie, zijn schapen, zijn bokken. Maar hoe gaan hij nou hier komen? Ons het allemaal samen ingestemd voor mijn pa. En ons zal samenkomen, ons zal die dieren aanjagen. Maar toen zei mijn pa, Margriet, ik ga niet mijn hond die achterlos nie. Ons het geweten, Knysna is omtrent de stap van maandag tot donderdagmiddag nie. En mijn pa was op die fiets geweest en op die fiets was al onze voorraad eetgerei wat ons moet eet langs die pad was ingepakt. Maar nou moet mijn pa vorentoe rijden en mijn pa met een plek gaan opkap voor ons met die knipmes, zodat ons daar kan oornag. Dus onze laatste aand in die Grootbos was op Veldmanspad, waar ons nou uitgekamp het onder die meele wat daar gestaan, die morasie. Ons kon daai aand vir die eerste keer hoor hoe olifante graspole uittrek en eers die grond uitslaan voor hulle dit opsnibber. Maar dit het ons nie vir ons saak gemaak het. Dit was nog net 'n naam, olifant. Ons het nie ondervinding gehad van hoe groot olifante is nie. En eers nadat ek gegroei het, klaarskool gegaan het en my pa ons die eer gegee het om af te gaan na 'n sirkus toe, wat ons 'n olifant in lewende lywe kon sien.
Today, the skeleton of this elephant may be viewed at the museum at Diepwalle in the Knysna section of the Greater Garden Route National Park.
So ek wil nou vir julle sê van tevore, ons as die gemeenskap het altyd gekyk as die manne uitgegaan het om te gaan visvang met die bootjies, nee. En die enigste wanneer ons kon weet hulle het gekom is wanneer hulle op die horing blaas, dan weet ons die viskuite het nou ingekom. En almal stroom nou af strand toe, daar by Kitty's Park, wat vandag Kitty's Park is, en, het ons altyd gaan onderkant Kwikspar naaste te wees. Daar was ons almal, want dit was ons stabelvoedsel, almal kyk maar uit, vanaand aan die monde weer blank, want die vissermanne het gekom.
Is vandag vir my 'n baie besonderse voorreg om hier te staan en namens Eastford School iets te kan sê. Die skool het in 1923 geopen en die hoof was hier vir 40 jaar. Toe ek hier aankom in 1962, toe het die skool alreeds 'n biblioteek waar kinders kon gaan naslaan werkies doen. En ons het 'n kantoor gehad en daar was 'n sopkombuis. Die 5 Roses bus het gery vanaf Concordia. Toe het ons dan die kinders vervoer na die middelbare skool toe. Hier in Soutrivier was eintlik nooit vervoerdiensie. Hierdie mense het nie vervoerdiens gehad nie. Dis net daardie bus wat gery het met die skoolkinders na die middelbare skool toe, want dit was al skool wat die is. Dan het ons, die oom wat ons gery het, was 'n Roman gewees. En dan het hy die groot trok gehad en agter op die lorry, soos ons gesê het, is dan nou 'n tent. En op die tent het dan daar gestaan 5 Roses. En dan klim ons nou op die 5 Roses in, dan sit hulle vir ons af, en dan moet ons deur die rivier loop. Maar as dit baie gereën het in die winter, dan kom die rivier af. Dan mag ons eintlik nie deur gaan nie.
Even back then, Knysna was made up of a diverse community who lived from Brackenhill in the east, in Knysna town, places like Concordia, Vitlokasi and Belvedere, to here in Salt River.
Besides Eastford Secondary School, there is a school right on top, a secondary school, and a little bit lower there is a primary school in the Salt River Valley known as St. Paul's Caradoc Primary School. An important person, Percy Mdala, he came here in Knysna in 1956. The story goes, Percival was born in 1929 in a small village of Khoi in Somo, in the former Transkei. After completing his secondary education, he went to Hilltown to do a teaching profession in the Eastern Cape, formerly known as the Ciskei. On his way to Cape Town, actually, what happened, he hitchhiked a truck. He ran out of money, then he was forced to do that because the mode of transport those days was a train, which he could not afford. Unfortunately for him, at Knysna, the truck driver told them, with the other guys which were loaded at the back, the car or the truck has ran out of diesel. They had to get off the truck and it became dark. Whilst they were walking, lions appeared on the scene. The Percival and others were able to make it. They ran. The other guy jumped and climbed on the tree. Two of the guys, unfortunately, were witnessed being devoured by the lion, by the guy on the tree. When Percy Mdala got to Knysna, he started to look for a job. The first thing he thought of is to go and look for a church or a mission, as it was known in those days. He came across Bishop Staton of the St. George's Anglican Church. Bishop was so kind to him, he offered him a job as a gardener, working with his partner in the garden, and the way he was doing things, the bishop was so delighted and impressed at the way he was doing things. He requested the guy to ask him, listen, can you find out from him, what is he, who is he, what is his profession? Then later it came out that he happened to be a teacher. He said, that's why I saw you from the beginning, the way you articulated yourself. Then the bishop said, you were God sent here. We are going to start the school and I want you, Percival, to be the headmaster and the teacher in this school. Percy, as a brave man, was excited. I remember coming fresh from the college, starting a school as a principal and running a school was quite a challenge. They started the school, St. Paul Caradoc, in 1956. As the kids were coming from all over Salt River area, so the only challenge they had to cross a river. The river now and then was flooded. When the river is full, small kids could not cross the river. Percival, as a committed educator, decided to put it upon himself to carry the kids across the river to school and back home. So that was his job he was doing tirelessly. The school grew, and there was time that because this place, Salt River Valley, was a privately owned place, there were too many people. As well, some people now were forced now to move to white location. Percy Mdala had to go, unfortunately, leaving the building behind where he was very much connected to start a school in white location. The motto of Percy Mdala High School is there is light through education, because everyone believed that Percival brought light to the black community of Knysna. That's why the school was named after him. Now, Percy Mdala is boosting a school population of 1,100 kids with about 34 teachers. And Percy Mdala is still keeping up to the values and is still holding the name of Percy very high. Wherever he is, he should be proud of himself.
And as much as the rise and fall of the Salt River affected the lives of this valley's community, so did the estuary and the Indian Ocean beyond affect the lives of many of Knysna's residents. Infrastructure development caused by the growing mining industries in the rest of South Africa demanded that much of the timber sourced from the Knysna forest was exported from Knysna. And because of the natural harbour formed by the estuary, right on the main trade routes between the East and Europe, a lot of it was exported via boat. and this in turn led to the rise of a local boat-building industry. Many families were supported through the work that husbands, fathers and brothers did at the Thiessen's shipyard, known as the Knysna Boat Company. Their wharf company built the first formal harbour at today's Thiessen harbour town, and boat building continued right through the 20th century in what is now known as the boat shed.
Ja, toe ons die bote op die slipway afgebring het hulle daar by die groot deur afgekom en afgegaan op die slip, soos wat die winds omgetrek het tot onder waar die hoogwater die boot afgelig het van die slipway af. Dan was daar toue aan die boot vasgewees wat hom verder dieper intrek, en dan daarvandaan was toue oor na die jetty, en daar is hy vasgemeer vir die volgende stappe wat op hom moes gedoen word. Ja, die bootbedryf het begin voor die Tweede Wêreldoorlog, en in daardie tyd op na die Tweede Wêreldoorlog toe is omtrent 640 bote gebou. En daarna in die Tweede Wêreldoorlog toe het Thiessens begin bou vir die staat 10 van daardie ML's. Het is mynveers gewees wat hulle gebou het in daardie tyd, en na die mynveers, na die oorlog ook nou oor was en so voort, het ons toe begin met kleiner bote. Maar wat ek julle nou vertel, dit is nou wat ek van my pa gehoor het, want hy het toe daardie tyd by die bote gewerk. In my maand in die 47 het ek as 'n jong seun, toe was ek nou maar 16, 17 jaar oud, het ek begin by as 'n vakleerling by die meubelbedryf. En ek het vir 11 jaar het ek ondervinding opgedoen by die meubelbedryf, en toe het die Thiessense meubelbedryf toegemaak met die gevolg is dat hulle het my toe oorgeskuif na die bootafdeling toe. Toe moes ek weer van onderaf as 'n vakleerling weer vir 5 jaar leer om bote te bou, wat vir my baie interessant was, want dit was vir my baie lekker dan om meubels te bou. En ons het toe verskillende houtbote gebou daar, en toe het ons begin met die trollers. Ja, die planne was 80 voet vir die troller geweest, en dan het jy 'n kaptein nodig gehad. En om dit uit te sny het ons die troller 6 duim korter gemaak. En toe was daar nou nie kapteinskap nodig geweest op hom nie. Ek was baie trots toe ek hierdie boot saam met 'n jong vakleerling gebou het, en dan die handlangers wat daarby was. En hier staan hy, is 'n pragtige boot, en nou op die oomblik wat ons hier staan, is 33 jaar gelede. Ja, en die boot het plus minus 27 jaar die boot as rescueboot op die water gedien. En soos julle self weet, die bar waar deur die boot gegaan het, is rof. En op foto's kan jy sien waar hierdie boot, wat se waters hierdie boot moes gevat het, net om mense se lewens te red. Ja, hier in Knysna in die bootbouwerk was die voortrekker destyds ook gebou, en in 1976 het hy deelgeneem aan die Cape Toreo seiljagvaart, en ons het daai boot het ons met 16 man met handlangers het ons daai boot gebou, wat ook 'n prachtskip was, en hy het ook die eerste resies, en daarna 'n tweede resies het hy ook gewen, en ons was so trots om te weet dat ons 'n seiljag vir Suid-Afrika gebou het, wat daardie resies, wêreldresies gewen het.
Of course, Knysna and its estuary is not only famous for its fishing and the erstwhile boat-building industry, but for the Knysna oyster. In years gone by, intrepid collectors would collect so many of these little mollusks that they used donkeys to carry the bags of wild coastal oysters all the way from the beach at Buffalo Bay to Knysna, from where the Thiessen's company exported them to Cape Town. While you're not allowed to collect bags of them anymore, they still flourish in the wild waters along Knysna's coastline, waiting to be collected, if you have the correct license, that is. Knysna has certainly changed over the years. With a rich history in forestry, the timber industry, boat building, wooden furniture, and its association with the ocean, its people and their culture are as diverse as its natural surroundings. Today, visitors can enjoy many activities in the forest, from visiting museums dedicated to its history to hiking, mountain biking and camping. Nature lovers will be awed by the natural beauty of the indigenous forest, where the 7 weeks fern is still commercially harvested for the floristry industry, as well as the famous and botanically important Cape fynbos that surrounds the area. The diversity of plant and animal life will astound visitors, who should be on the lookout for the Knysna dwarf chameleon, Knysna lory, leopards, and of course the elusive Knysna elephants. While furniture was once crafted out of Knysna timber as a necessity, these artful pieces are more of a collector's item today. And as the Knysna Lakes section is at the heart of the Greater Garden Route National Park, Knysna's rivers, estuary and bordering ocean abound with adventures and leisure activities, from water skiing to champagne cruises aboard luxury yachts. But it is through its people and their stories that the history of this town comes alive and is remembered and treasured for future generations. From a newly established municipality in 1882 with just over 1,000 residents, Knysna has evolved into a thriving community with over 71,200 residents in 2013, incorporating Nutsi, Knysna Town, Uniondale, Belvedere, Brenton, Buffalo Bay, Karoo and Sedgefield. And while the town, its people and surrounding areas have seen many changes throughout the years, it is still just as beautiful as when Chief Knys first decided to call it home.
Eistervarkjan, om Jan soldier, 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 talita lali lale, lali lale di talila, talila le di tatita, lila le di tatita. Eistervarkjan, om Jan soldier, Eistervarkjan, om Jan soldier, Eistervarkjan, om Jan soldier, Eistervarkjan, om Jan soldier.
Kijk, koe. Hij zit ambe.
Hey, wat weet jij, hè?